Pandemonium was released 3 years after the Horde on the Saturn, PS1, PC and later on the N-Gage. It's a 2D cross 3D platformer, meaning a 3D world built with polygons but runs along a 2D rail-like system. Released at the point where most of us were moving on to games based along 3D design, Pandemonium is like a homage to the classic of platformers. Let's take a look at the story for a bit, shall we? The story revolves around an acrobat, Nikki, and a jester called Vargas. The two get into some real trouble after casting a spell that doesn't go too well. Let's take a look.
Pretty nasty, huh, Vargas? What should we name that one?
Shatner's toupee? What do you think, Sid?
Let's see another one, Nikki.
Oh, heck, why not? Shurka Chandomal.
That was the coolest, but it needed more firepower.
Yeah, really blast one.
Well, which one should I do?
This one.
But this is a 10th level spell.
We ain't got all day.
Yeah, let's go, Toots. Make with the boo-boo.
Hey, qua yungo zore korech ba. Uh-oh.
What in the world?
This is so boss.
I am Yongo. Yum.
That was fun. Horrible, but fun.
Okay, Toots. Make with the get rid of the giant monster spell.
I don't know that one.
Check the book. Check the book.
To get rid of Yungo, seek a boon from the wishing engine.
A boon? What the heck's a boon?
A wish, you idiot.
And look, here's a map. Let's go.
Okay, so you can choose either Nikki or Vargas to take on any of the 18 levels. Both characters have their own special moves. Nikki is able to double jump, whereas Vargas has got a puppet named Sid, and this enables him to be able to do this spinning attack, though he can't jump as high. We both find Nikki much easier to use, mainly because of the double jump. In parts of the game, you're even morphed into a frog, a turtle, or a rhino, or even a dragon, each with their own special attributes. The dragon can fly and shoot flames. Each one also has their own special sections of the level to match. Along the way, the player gathers treasure. Collecting 300 treasures gets an extra life. The player can also activate a bonus level by getting enough treasure in one level. If you get 80 to 94% of the treasure, it activates Speed Greed, a bonus level where you collect treasure while trying to keep ahead of a pursuing vortex. If the player gathers 95% of the treasure in one level, he activates Full Tilt, a pinball-based bonus level. In this, the player directs the character around a giant pinball machine, gathering treasure and activating special areas on the board. It's bizarre. Overall, it's a good, well-made 2.5D platformer with not a lot to match it really. It looked really good, it was simple and hard, all positives in this case. I'm glad there wasn't a flood of these games on the market either, because it could have got old really quickly.
Now, Nick, you're a fan of both these games, aren't you, mate?
I really like both of these games. It took me a bit longer with the Horde, but Pandemonium was one I used to play with my brother non-stop. PlayStation port of it, but I found this one almost identical, if not slightly more user-friendly to play with, actually. So what was your verdict on the Horde?
Well, the Horde is one, I think it's a great one for the weekend. One of those great ones with when you want to have a few beers with a few friends, just a mate maybe, on a quiet night. And yeah, having a few more beers perhaps then, and then you'll really understand the true power of the comedy in that.
There's so many things wrong with that statement. We'll just let it go.
An old hand at the game would find the game quite easy to play. Someone who's learnt the levels, who figured out the difference, you know, of defense versus the landscape and stuff like that. But if you're new, check out this code and it might help you out. Left B, left, A, right, down. And that will give you 30,000 crowns, and should keep you out of trouble for a while.
It really does help this. If you're stuck on the game, it's worth doing this just to get through and just to understand how to play the game a little bit, because
Not just that too, but when you've got a friend over,
Yeah.
you really don't want to be repeating the same level over and over again. There's nothing that makes people more bored than watching the same thing repetitively over and over again. That's why Nick couldn't stand me doing Sonic 3D back in the day.
It's still fun to watch. It's not just them getting slaughtered. It's still difficult too. You don't win every time with the code. It's not like a God mode, so to speak.
Now, Pandemonium was also a fun game, but more for a solo play, right? One for those rainy days that you just want to sit and get warmed up with a bunch of bright colours and fast gameplay.
One of the things that we've experienced with playing the Hordes is that I can say the things to Chuck that he's maybe missed or make suggestions on how to do the gameplay. It's not like someone else can really help me with telling me when to press jump. And that's pretty much the only things. The things that are sort of secret things you'll only spot if you're playing. Those things aren't going to be spotted by other people in the room.
Other things about that game is my particular downfall with the game was its learning curve. With Guitar Hero, you start with easy, then medium, then hard, then expert. You work your way up, and each song gets harder as you play it along. Whereas we found in this game that some of the later levels were actually easier than some of the earlier ones. Like level 3, I think, had more of a challenge for us and took longer to get through than some levels like level 8 and stuff like that. Level 9.
And they had that interesting password system that held the amount of gems you had as well as the level that you're up to and the amount of lives that you had at the time. But the drawback with that was sitting there, I remember we used to have this big sheet of paper we jammed inside the box because it was the only way to keep up with all your codes and where you were at with it. So yeah, I think memory cards were definitely a good advancement there. Yeah. So yeah, that's overall pretty much Toys for Bob. We're big fans of you. I'm sure many of you, our viewers out there, are big fans of yours as well. And these are two of the games, as we said, you might not have seen these ones that they did. You're going to see later ones like what we've got here. We've got Madagascar, Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam. Yeah. We've got what was that famous one they did? Star. It'll be on the screen. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Toys for Bob. Good work, guys. See you later next week.